Would you hire a random IT guy who walks into your office and drops a card on your counter? Probably not, right? But I've been there. I've door knocked. It works, but it only works if you show up actually prepared for this. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what you should be doing, what to bring with you, how to leave a lasting impression, and the tools that actually convert to get somebody even remotely interested in your MSP. Because think about it, we think about MSPs, they think about it as IT support. And we don't want to be sleazy through this. So trust me, if you're like, Harrison, I don't want to feel salesy or pushy. It's not the kind of person. I got you. You don't have to feel like that. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow, whether that's teaching you how to sell your MSP services, teaching you how to generate an unlimited number of leads into your MSP business, or teaching you how to operate it correctly and manage it so that way it doesn't flop over time. If you'd like to learn more, head over to growth-generators.com and you could see our website. We have a bunch of things. We help MSPs. We have master classes. We have a ton of services. We have a ton of free resources here. And inside of our membership, we even have things that you can grab to help make your life easier for this specific case. And little spoiler there, but everything from our Sales Pro blueprint to the business plan structures. I mean, a lot of it is already free. You can go grab it, growth-generators.com/resources. So let's talk about going door knocking because it's something that you may or may not want to do. If you're somebody that absolutely hates cold calling, you can message on LinkedIn, but there's only so many messages you get there. One of the best things to do is actually, believe it or not, get out there, use the old legs and go knock on people's doors and talk about what you do and how you do it. But there are some things that you're absolutely going to need right off the rip, right? You kind of need like a little bit of a starter kit, if you will, right? I'm sure you're probably thinking of this, but you need some business cards. Now you want to bring a couple of them. You need, I don't know, maybe let's say 3 or 4 per office, right? Because you're going to ultimately hand them out to different people. Now, bonus points if your business cards tell people what you do. Now, in this case, I have my business card here, and then I also have on the back my phone number, my email address, my website. But I don't tell people exactly what I do, and that's because I don't really meet people in person specifically when I hand them this business card. But if you were an MSP meeting people in person, you would want to just include a little bit about what you do and how you do it, right? Tech support, something easy, something that people can read, maybe 5 up to 10 words that they could just digest and they get it. Believe it or not, that's really what you want. Now, the second part of this, and this probably sounds self explanatory, but you need to dress for the occasion. Now, here in my home office, I typically rock a t shirt. I switch over to my polo for certain meetings and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I'm dressed pretty comfortably. Spoiler alert. And even when I'm at the office, don't tell anybody, but I dress down a little bit. But if I'm ever going out and meeting people in person, because I do host a meetup here in Charlotte, I make sure that I look business casual. And that's very subjective, but clean shoes, maybe pants or khaki shorts. You need a branded, hopefully, polo. And that's really it. Have a nice haircut. Don't look like disheveled. Wake up, shower that morning, brush your teeth, and you're good to go. Don't forget to floss. It's very important, right? And that's really all you need. And maybe a pack of gum. But you want to have a polished outfit. You want to make sure that stand tall, and you're ready to actually go out and say, hey, I'm Harrison. I run a local IT company. We help small businesses like yours avoid technology headaches and downtime, right? Something simple, something easy, but we don't want a robot where we just kind of blurb out the exact same thing over and over and over again. We want to make sure that we present as a business professional, but we talk conversationally, right? We want to give them time to respond as we do that. Simple handshake. If you're not into the handshake type thing, people are still doing fist bumps from COVID. Hey, you could still rock that as well. And remember, you're there in front of people. You have to have good body language. Arms should not be crossed, right? Your head shouldn't be leaned over. You shouldn't be slouching. You want a nice, confident posture, hopefully a smile, and eye contact, something I'm consistently working on doing when it comes to YouTube. Yes, I'm not looking at anyone in the eyes, but there's still a camera there that I have to look at every single day. Now, if you found even the slightest bit of value so far, can I just ask you to hit that like button? subscribe button, notification bell. We are so close to being the number one YouTube channel for MSPs out there, and I'm working super hard. I would just, if you could just do that, it would help tremendously. It's an arbitrary number, but it just makes me feel good. Thank you. So that's really what you need. You need a business card. You're going to be able to bring these, and you want to be able to smile, nice conversation, and be open, right? You're there to help them. You're there to save the day. That's realistically what we do in the MSP world. So make sure you act like you're there. Now, what's the other thing that you should bring with you? Because there's something that you should be bringing with you because them looking at your business card, right? And going through and saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to let me go on their website, growth-generators.com and see what they actually do." Only a certain percentage of people are actually going to do that. It's just the truth. People aren't going to be super aggressive. But what somebody is going to do is they're going to remember who you are, what you do, and how you do it. And we want to make sure that we bring something with us. Now, this could be a one pager or a two-page document, right? Front, back, or maybe you have a foldable one, whatever works best for you. And however, printing and design and all that, we have these already pre-laid out for you inside of MSP Heroes. But it's important to have something like this where you could go through and you want to talk a little bit about you, right? Short bio of who you help and how you help them. Those are important things. You want to talk a little bit about the services that you offer, but more about the benefits that the customer gets when they get those services, right? When somebody buys a Honda, right? It does say reliability, and I don't know all their slogans, but when it comes to, let's say, BMW, right? It's the ultimate driving machine. That's the benefit. You're getting the ultimate driving machine. It doesn't say V8. Yes, the technical specifications say those things. But it's important to talk about the services. You can use some icons, don't use emojis, and talk about the benefits that they get when they hire you. You also want to include a couple testimonials. I promise before you're like, Harrison, I don't have any testimonials. Ask your favorite customers. They will be glad to give you a raving testimonial. And if you want to, you can even put a QR code, which is one of my minor regrets of having my business cards, is not having a QR code on there. It's super easy to get a QR code, but scan this for a free tech checkup, visit or download, get more resources, whatever it is. But you want to have something that people can read and understand. Bonus points, if you've made it this far and you've hit that like button, subscribe button, if it actually connects with that type of customer. For example, if you're bringing in a sheet and it's designed for doctors or healthcare providers and you're actually at a doctor, mucho bonus points. But you don't need anything super crazy. 8.5 by 11, your standard paper sheet. You want a color scheme that matches your brand with branding all over it. And you want a lot of white space. It's not uncommon, and I don't have any pens on my desk here, but it's not uncommon to see people jotting down notes when they're talking to you. It's a real thing. It happens all the time. Don't cram. You want people to be able to easily go through it, scan it, figure out what it is, and they can then say, hey, I want to reach out to this person. Or maybe they don't want to reach out to this person. Little bonus tip, you can use Canva and you could DIY this yourself. It's not that hard, I promise you that one. And you want to add just simple tips, a tech tip column, maybe free value if they sign up, or maybe they join your email list, but something on there that'll get them a little bit more excited. Maybe something that just sparks a little interest. Hey, take our free guide, free questionnaire on how to make sure your healthcare company is more HIPAA compliant. I don't know, but something you can get crazy with. Now, there are times where I think this is really important. And this brings me to the third part of this, is leaving things behind, things that stick. Now, I am a sucker for mouse pads. Full transparency, I did not think of that one. That is my old MSP. I give them full credit for this one. But mouse pads are huge because think about it, right? Users are using their mice all day, every day. They're going through, they're looking at things. It is an easy way to stay top of mind all the time. Even if you just hand them out, it's great. You can give out notepads, you can give out postcard size, menu pricing or tips, tricks, things like that. Maybe emergency contact management if that's what you want to add as well. Think of things that you can give out. Some people like to give out USB drives. You have to be careful because maybe their current provider says, do not take anything from anybody. Do not take candy from a stranger. Do not take USBs from tech people, okay? That could just be what they're teaching them. But it's important. You want to have a physical presence on their desk. You want subconscious branding. These items may get passed around, they're going to sit there forever. And truthfully, I've dropped off mouse pads to people, and it is incredible how much joy a nice, fresh new mouse pad brings to somebody. It could be years that it's sitting there. It's a huge value, and you can buy them relatively inexpensively, depending on where you are and who's printing them off for you. But these are some of the things that are really important to just remember because they just get seen. And you never know who's walking by the office and they see it just constantly. If you want to go a little crazier, you can bundle these things together. You can bundle your one pager or your two pager. You can throw your business card in there. They make those nice little envelopes, right? And then you could put in a checklist or something like that, but just enough to have a conversation later. It's not a full proposal. You're not going there. You're not trying to sell anything at that time. But what if you door knock and they say, hey, you know what? This sounds good. Let's have a conversation. Fantastic. You can have a booking link, right? And you could say, hey, you know what? Sounds good. Here's my link. Or maybe there's a link on your business card, right? A little QR code that they can scan and get access to your calendar immediately. They can book time or you can go through that right then and there. I like the term BAM fam. Book a meeting from a meeting. In this case, your first meeting is happening while you're there, but you want to make sure you book another meeting that follows up with that. You can use Go High Level. I'm a fan of that. You can use Calendly, something to have them book time. And if you something messes up or anything like that, you can always send it to them later, but just make sure that you get their contact information. Hey, mind if I send you that checklist and I'll send you some other free resources as well as a link to my calendar? Huge. Write down any of the business information, the people that you talk to, key contact information. Use a CRM because you're not going to remember in 3 or 6 or 9 months. Remember, you're leaving little seeds. You're planting the field. You're about to become a farmer, believe it or not. This is the best part. But you have to make sure that as you're farming, you're planting those seeds, you're prepared to follow up with them. You've got to water those seeds. And you're going to do that inside of your CRM, in which case, as you probably know, because I've already said it, but I love Go High Level. It's just the best. And I'm going to pull it up here. You can do all of this in there. You could do this in HubSpot too, and some of the other ones. This one just happens to be the most full version of it. But truthfully, it's fantastic when it comes down to it. Now, it's also important to understand, hey, you're putting it in your CRM, you're putting in the notes so you don't forget it, you're following up on your calendar. Now what? Right? You're actually ready to go. You did all of the right things. At this point, it's your job to follow up with that person. It's your job to say, hey, you know what? I need to call this person. Or if they book time on my calendar, let's freshen up maybe the website. Let's freshen up my knowledge on what they do. So that way they have an incredible experience when they do go through the discovery day with you, trying to figure out what they need, what they don't need, and truthfully, why they should pick you when it comes to this. Now, there are some mistakes that I've made, and I do want to let you know that because that's the kind of person I am. And I want to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I have made in the past. And I've also heard of people making these mistakes. So these are some things that I've made, some things that other people have made. And number one, this is a mistake that I have absolutely made more so in the South than in the North. I talk too much and I talk too fast. I know for a guy that talks on YouTube for a living, it's kind of weird. But when I get my full New Yorker on, I could really talk without putting any spaces in between words. But when I'm talking to people around home, it's just how we talk. We get super, super excited. In the South, I have to slow down. I have to make it a point to slow down the way I speak. And even on YouTube, I try to slow down as much as I can to make it one normal, but not everybody listens that quickly. So make sure you're talking at the pace of either that person and you're not going super, super crazy. Other mistake to avoid, don't show up empty handed. You have to have something. At the bare minimum, business cards, something, and don't show up with a pitch deck. I've seen people try to pitch on their first meetings, and it is terrible. It is the cringiest thing I've ever seen, especially when the pitch deck is either super generic, it's super old, it's gross, and I don't recommend doing it. You don't also want to sound like you're a robot. This is just another meeting in your life and you have to go through it. You're not a robot and they're not robots. You're a salesperson or you're going to be a salesperson, and they are not professional buyers. You have to be the one that guides them through this process and makes it easy for them. That's the key to all of this. You want to make sure you treat it like an introduction and not like a sale. Because if you treat it like a sale, they're gonna feel the salesy, and that's when people start to, "I don't like this, I don't like this," right? And you wanna ask questions. You wanna ask great questions. Who manages your current infrastructure, current IT right now? Any problems that you guys have been dealing with? Revert to my last video to qualify somebody, but there's some great questions that you can have. This is just for the door knocking. The last one's for really the questions that you need to ask. But these are the most important things that you absolutely can do that's going to massively impact it. And you're not going to get better. You could watch all of the door knocking videos and sales that you want. But truth be told, it is not going to make you any better until you get out there and you go door knock. Hey, my name's so and so. I'd love to chat with you about technology. Who handles your technology? You're going to have some awkward moments. I get it. But you're going to have some victories along the way. You're going to learn how to talk to people. You might learn how to update your website or things that you need to update on your website. You might learn better pitches or better ways to chat with people. You might learn your elevator pitch better. But you can't get better at it unless you go out there and do it yourself. So you have to. And I encourage you to take this week, maybe if you want to push it back 1 week, but take this week or take the next couple days and try to go door knock. My favorite thing is when I had a customer in a building, unless there was a no soliciting sign, which I always respected, I would just knock on a couple of the doors around it. The worst thing that's going to happen is I'm going to learn something. Maybe I need to follow up, what they do, how they do it, and maybe I can make an introduction for them down the road. I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Love the heck out of you guys. As always, head over to growth-generators.com. There's a ton of things on there, resources, the free Discord, 1,300 plus members and growing, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.